Greg Veliz, Key West City Manager, is here, and I got to say, great minds think alike. Greg, I called your office in the morning, and you called me in the afternoon. We both had the same thing on our mind, and that was to get you here on Pirate Radio this morning. So thank you for coming on in.
Absolutely. Thanks, Jack, for having us. Obviously, the city of Key West has made some moves to try to protect its citizens, and now that the moves have been made and the protective measures have been put in place, I think what we want to do now is get the word out. We need people to hear our voices, know that we're here, and that we're being responsive, and it's happening every day. Just because you don't see a move made every day, we're still paying attention.
Yeah, you're doing a really good job keeping the City of Key West website up to date. When announcements are made or breaking news is happening, that's really the first best place to go, is the city website, in my humble opinion.
Well, I try to direct everyone. There's a lot of rumors out there, and we discussed this yesterday on another broadcast where there are a lot of rumors. Please refer to the city website. We won't put anything out before we confirm it, and once it's confirmed, it will be put on there. So that's the best place, that I recommend that you look.
Mm-hmm. The 5 p.m. closure of all non-essential businesses, what brought that? I mean, yeah, the coronavirus, but is it just an offensive move on behalf of the city?
We've tried to be offensive in all of the moves that we've made. Obviously, we've been out a little bit ahead of some other entities. We're making decisions based on the messages that we're getting from other municipalities, from the state, and trying to implement those in advance. We have a very unique situation here. When this whole thing hit, we were inundated with spring breakers.
Yeah.
We had that whole throng of people that we had to deal with, and that caused us to move a little bit more aggressively. Mm-hmm. We closed the beaches first. Obviously, the beaches were packed. We had kids everywhere, and we had to try to dissuade them from being out and about within the city.
You've pretty much cleared all that out now. I mean, the hotels have been cleared out, the kids, the spring breakers gone, the beaches are pretty much empty. Are you comfortable with the people following the directive of the city?
Comfortable, yes. I won't be absolutely comfortable until it's over. Mm-hmm. Hoping for that day, waiting for that day. Hopefully, So I heard someone the other day on a broadcast, national person, saying that the best judge of how we did was no information, was no response. Mm-hmm. So, if we end up, we've got 2 cases now confirmed, and we're trying to stay out in front of notifications on that because there's so many false notifications out there.
Yeah, 1 in Key Largo and 1 here in Key West.
That's correct.
Mm-hmm. The Key West person that tested positive, is that person in the hospital or just self-quarantined at home?
The latest I heard was self-quarantined at home, and obviously not a lot of people exhibit the drastic, life-threatening symptoms that some people get. So that would probably suffice for many, many people.
Mm-hmm. Both people had recently traveled overseas, right?
That's correct.
Okay. Is the health department monitoring both these people, making sure that they're staying home and doing what they're supposed to do?
I'm not speaking for the health department, but I would imagine, they're getting quite a bit of attention right now.
Yeah, we'll have Bob Eady on in the next couple of days. Okay. So the essential businesses, do you want to define what those are from the city?
We try to stay pretty broad in our definition of essential businesses. Many of them deal with transportation. Many of them deal with personal services, although we tried to restrict some things where there was actual physical contact, like salons and massage parlors. And yet, we try to keep doctors' offices, legal offices. We're trying to keep as much business as we possibly can operating without putting anyone at risk.
So gas stations are all open.
Yes.
And I'd read something that could be kind of a good tip for everybody to remember. When you're filling your car up at the pump, it's a good idea to keep a rag or something, a glove on. You don't know whose hand was on that pump before you got there. So some kind of protective measure when you're filling your car up with gas. Okay. Also, the supermarkets, of course, are open.
They are.
And I think they're doing a good job getting restocked. Publix, both stores, Winn-Dixie, of course, Fausto's is. I haven't felt really, Fausto's is restocking so fast that they don't have the empty shelves the other stores have. So a big shout out to everybody at Fausto's. Other essential businesses that are open. So we've got doctors' state offices, we've got the grocery stores, the gas stations. Anything else?
To try to remember the whole list is a little difficult.
Yeah.
But, hardware stores, things that you maintain your home with. As the mayor said yesterday, if your air condition goes out, you're quarantined in your house, obviously you need an air condition repairman. Should the plumbing go out, you need a plumber, electricians, things of that nature. Like I said, we try to keep it as broad as possible while keeping everyone safe. And regardless what the business is, still practice social distancing, still practice things that will keep you safe. Whether you're patronizing one of those businesses or not, it's still, if you have a repairman in your home, understand that repairman's been in other people's homes. So just employ, things that will keep you and your family safe.
Yeah. Try to keep some Lysol wipes around if you can't find any. Just get on the Google and you can come up with some homemade ways to clean your house. A bottle of Lysol spray, most cleaners at the supermarket, and just keep spraying down your door handles and anything that you touch and other people touch in your home and in your business. Greg, how will this affect meetings now, city commission meetings and that kind of thing? Are they going to be put on hiatus or?
Well, we've already we're speaking with our commission daily, individually, and I'm talking to them daily, and they have a large amount of input in what we're doing. We have a meeting scheduled early April, and we're going to try to make that happen. We had a special meeting called for earlier, I think last week, and we canceled that just due to the fact that we couldn't make it work as far as getting everyone together and getting everybody in one room. And we're still trying to find out, working with the state, what's the art of the possible? What can we get done to make this thing legal? Because we still have to abide by the Sunshine Law, but they're relaxing some of the restrictions.
I would think that gets in the way in emergencies like this. The Sunshine Law, for people that don't know, means that the commissioners can't talk to each other privately, right?
That's correct.
Who came up with that brilliant idea?
Actually, in times not as stressful as these, it ensures transparency, and for those reasons, I can appreciate it. It does make emergency operations a tad more difficult.
Yeah, I would imagine. Greg, there's a testing center in Marathon. I don't have the info on it yet, but what are the plans here in Key West to have some drive-through testing and increase the opportunity for people to get tested?
I know that people are working in that direction. Commissioner Hoover, working with the state this week, had some people, had 300 tests delivered to the hospital. So we have, there are tests here now. So, if someone warrants testing, I think at this point now that they're readily available.
Call your doctor or call the Monroe County Health Department here in Key West. By the way, you can also visit floridahealth.gov or use the hotline set up by the Florida Department of Health, 1-866-779-6121. That's a good one to keep on your refrigerator or in your pocket, for that matter. Just a heads up, the first drive-through testing site for the Keys is opening in Marathon today at the Marathon Community Park, and that starts in about an hour at 10 a.m. It runs from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. And if you'd like to get tested, you must meet the criteria of having recently traveled to any of the affected countries or have been in contact with somebody who has the COVID-19 virus. You need to call this number. Get your pen out. Greg and I have a minute. We got a minute.
Got a minute.
Yeah, Greg's going to check out the paper here while I let everybody get a pen and paper out. This is a number that you need to have and call if you want to get tested here in Monroe County. 305-252 4820. And you can get a phone screening with that number. But you can visit the Marathon Community Park starting at 10 a.m. this morning if you believe that you have symptoms that meet the coronavirus. Do not go there if you've got a headache or, just normal day-to-day stuff. I think people get confused a lot because flu symptoms and coronavirus symptoms are very similar. But the kicker is if you have shortness of breath, that's when you need to worry that maybe you have the COVID-19 coronavirus. Okay, Greg, what about people that need permits, our builders that want to continue working? Are they able to get building permits at City Hall?
The city of Key West is still open for business. Obviously, access to the building, physical access to the building has been restricted. I believe if you were to show up there now, the front door would be closed. But the building department is very much active right now. People have computer access, either from home, and we have a limited staff still at City Hall. So we're doing inspections, we're issuing permits. We're trying to keep the mechanics of the city working while being as safe as possible.
We are in a very unique geographical spot here in not just Key West, all the Keys. There's one way in, there's one way out, and we're known to be very isolated. And I think at this juncture, with the virus that is spreading across the country, we're in a really good spot if we can contain the two that have tested positive.
Jack, that's a two-edged sword. With the fact that we are isolated and the fact that we are contained helps us in that we won't have a large influx of people. We can restrict it pretty easily, and therefore keeping the virus from outside. Likewise, if we don't employ safe measures now, if we were to get an infection, a mass infection, it's going to spread pretty quickly. So it's a two-edged sword. We are contained, but having it contained and being in close quarters could also work to our detriment.
Anything special that's being done with COTS, our homeless shelter? That is a city-managed property and problem. What are we doing about that?
Well, I've got a team of people working only on COTS right now, trying to expand services, what that looks like currently, whether it's a 24-hour situation, whether it's just expanding the footprint to make people less in contact that they currently are, because it's pretty tight quarters out there.
Yeah.
Right now you get somewhere between 120 and 150 people there every night. And under the current situation, it's pretty tight. So we've got a team of people looking at it, and what we'll do is probably expand the footprint. Obviously, everything's got to go through the sheriff, and we want everything to be acceptable to him.
Yeah. Are you talking with other city managers around Florida, around the country, exchanging ideas, networking a little bit, or?
And now the ones in the Keys, we do network.
Yeah.
We have a thread that's been started and a lot of messaging going back and forth. But obviously some of the bigger cities, Miami Beach, Dade County, they're on TV every night. And we're taking some cues. To say I'm not taking cues from them, we are. We're looking at ideas that we think apply to us and some that don't. And some we're implementing and some we're choosing not to. I think us jumping out in front of the restaurant situation was definitely a cue we took from the mainland and something that we felt was right for us. The county chose not to do, and you understand that the county and the city have unique challenges. No one else has a Duval Street. Nobody has, the amount of people here that we do and in tight quarters. So there's a lot of concern as to why we're always not on the same page, but I believe that, there are unique circumstances and we're taking actions as they pertain to Key West.
The closures as of yesterday at 5 p.m., all non-essential businesses ordered closed here in Key West. That means all state parks are now closed. as is the campground and restroom facilities at Fort Jefferson in the Dry Tortugas. All fishing bridges in the Keys are now closed, and all public boat ramps are closed to visitors. Sheriff Rick Ramsey has told us he's ordered increased patrols and will help the FWC patrol popular sandbar and social areas out on the water. And we've got Greg Veliz in studio with us this morning, our city manager. And Greg, when you took this job, did you ever imagine you'd see this one coming?
No, actually, I ran into Jim Scholl the other day, and I said, you could have gave me anything. Cat 5, Cat 4. I've been through most of that. What I haven't been through is a pandemic, and I don't think that there is no guidebook. There's no game plan for this. We're trying to do the best we can with things that we face each and every day.
Yeah, well, I tip my hat to you and the mayor, all the city commissioners working together to keep us safe. Again, the best place for people to get information, facts that you can take to the bank. You can go to pirateradiokeywest.com for all the links to the city, to the Monroe County Health Department, and the Florida Department of Health, or you can just go straight to the City of Key West website for the most up-to-date info. It's a fluid situation, Greg. I would imagine that things are changing kind of rapidly in City Hall.
Yes, they are. Every single day, it's a different situation. Every day we come, it's changing nationally. Every day you turn on the TV, there's a new set of restrictions, a new actions taken, and paying attention to those and having your finger on the pulse is going to help us make sounder decisions here locally.
Okay, Greg, thanks for coming in. I imagine that you're going to be a regular in that chair as we get through this, and we sure am grateful to have you. To be able to get firsthand information, up-to-the-date info to people here in Key West and the Florida Keys. So thank you very much.
Well, we appreciate you giving us an opportunity to get our message out and try to keep people informed. Thank you, Jack.
Yeah, well, we'll have you back. You just ring the bell, and we'll have you back here on the morning show. Thank you.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Greg.